Flowers, Lisa Mason Ziegler, and I am so glad you're joining me here today. This is fall weather. We're in mid-September, and it's actually kind of behaving like fall, where we're having warm days and coolish nights. And now if we can just get some rain, it will be absolutely perfect. So today's show, we're talking my best tips for growing in the cool season. And y'all, this is a big piece that people miss. What you can do now to get ready to plant for the next cool flower window, which is very early spring. We're going to look at what's blooming on the farm. We got tons of stuff going on. I'm going to have a live drawing at the end of the show for all those in-app viewers that are watching live. And then at the end, I'll do my classic Q&A and answer a few questions that are submitted. And if you have a question, you can put it in the comments. Just put @Lisa, and the team knows to pick those questions up. Type your question, and they'll put it in the pool at the end of the show, and I will do my best to answer those, as many of those as I can. So before we get started, folks, down at the bottom of your screen, there's a share button. We love it. And we know y'all are doing it. We have so many new people every single week join us. And we know it's because of you guys. It is like telling a friend, and we appreciate it so very, very much. So hit that share button and ask your friends. And then it's a little bit of housekeeping. Please be sure to check and double check your email address and your phone number. We have to have both of those to ship to you. And there's oftentimes typos, as well as sometimes, depending on what credit card platform you use or credit card, it kind of like generates this auto email that is just not usable. And so go in and check your email and your phone number, because we need that. We're not using it for anything else. That is just simply for shipping. So if you're watching us from social media, we are so glad you've joined us. But what you need to know is that we have a phone app. And in the app, there's just a lot of things you can do that you can't do through social media. First off, you can build a favorites list. You can watch the replays from previous videos. If you want to go back in and see what was blooming 3 weeks ago, you can do that. You can carry on in the comments with all the other live viewers, right? But more importantly, you can enter the giveaway. We love giving stuff away, and you have to be in the app for us to be able to see that you actually entered it. So also, one of the things that happens during the live show is we often will go out of stock on stuff. We'll sell out. Sometimes the team's bringing more over from our big website. So if you want something and you go to it and it's not there, get on the wait list. That simply means we'll just drop you a little notification when and if it gets back in stock. So if you're seeing people post the sunflower emoji, which that's what our company logo is, then those are people identifying themselves as our family, and those are our students. Those are the folks that are actually, we consider them part of our family, and we absolutely love it when folks do that. And so, friends, I love giving stuff away, and we are on a roll now, giving away $25 store credits to one lucky viewer. And you just hit the giveaway now, that little box at the top of your app, and that will enter you into on the list that we pick from at the end of the show. So be sure and do that, because we just love giving away stuff, right? So we always start the show off with my books, because they're instructive books on how to grow flowers, right, in different applications. And so my newest book that has come out is called The Cut Flower Handbook. And this is a beautiful book, y'all. It's hardback. It's 240 pages. It has a couple hundred plus pictures in it. And it is like a really amazing reference tool. This is one of those things you're going to just use it over and over and over again. And it has 66 specific cut flower variety, different flowers in here. Shows you the seedling, it shows you the flower, when you cut, where you make the cut, how to start it. It just has a ton of information, plus more. And succession planting and teaching you when to plant what was a really big part of this book for me. I would love to sign one for you. And when you buy it from us, you also get the bonus flowers that didn't make the book. And so that's a PDF download that we'll include with your purchase. Would totally love to sign one of those for you. And then also my book, Vegetables Love Flowers, which really includes, this is not about growing vegetables, y'all. It's about how flowers benefit vegetables and how you can do that by growing a little 3-season cutting garden in your vegetable patch. And it's super easy to do. This is really a lot about my method of farming and gardening, how I don't use pesticides and those types of things, as well as setting up and growing a little cutting garden. So this book also comes with a video book study when you purchase it from us. We made videos. I interviewed the photographer. It's really pretty interesting. And it just has my all-natural gardening philosophy in here. So I'd love to sign one of these for you. And then, of course, we have the book that started it all, Cool Flowers. This is like step one if you don't know about Cool Flowers. This is a super easy read. It's the book that started it all. It's written for the home gardener, but it's based on all my years of flower farming and can be applied to flower farming, right? And this book also, when you get it from us, comes with a video book study. And so this is a really fun one, and I would love to sign a Cool Flowers for you. I need this one. I'll use it later. So the tip of the day that we're going to be talking about is, cool season growing and then prepping for what I call very early spring. And that's something that really helps me. It's not spring, it's very early spring, right? So we'll talk about what that is in just a minute. So let's first talk about some cool season growing tips. I love using low tunnels with lightweight row cover, using hoops and row cover. So row cover, which we use the lightweight version. So I do this. See how lightweight this is? Because this allows the maximum amount of air, light, very important, 85%, and water can penetrate it. You can use this to protect your direct sown seeds. That's a really common issue that people have. And you can lay this down without hoops on it for short-term use. And then you can also use it as I do during winter, not for cold protection. It's not that my plants don't survive my winter, but it's like a winter jacket for seedlings. It protects against the wind and against varmints. If you have rabbits and squirrels and deer around like I do, if you cover, that just kind of keeps them from walking there typically, right? And you always take row cover down or off whenever any type of frozen precipitation is actually expected. So this is the lightweight row cover, and this is just one of those essential tools that I love to use. And then also, these aren't offered here on the app, but I wanted to show you what these are with what they kind of look like. This is the wire pre-arched hoop that you can find these over on our big website, right? This is wire, and we install these when our cool flower beds are planted. This is the next step. We install hoops on all the beds, so we're ready and waiting, right? And so we have these available over on our website. They're really easy to install. They last forever. You can use them from year after year, and you can check those out at thegardenersworkshop.com. And this is the way I use row cover all winter long, on hoops, just to maximize the comfort underneath there and for my plants. And so you'll find them over at thegardenersworkshop.com. We also brought in one of our weight bags full, right? You've seen the weight bags week after week, but this is what they look like full. We actually have gravel in here, and there's a tie at the top to tie it. And the primo weight that I have found is 15 pounds. And you can use soil, sand, or gravel. We always have a pile of gravel around here, so that works really well. And when you use weight bags, it's getting kind of heavy. When you use a weight bag to sit on top of the row cover, your row covers are less likely to rip. I see clips and clamps and all kinds of things on the internet that people are using, and they talk about it ripping the row cover, and I totally understand that. These row covers are bellowing constantly, and anything that penetrates the row cover is very predisposed to rip more. We find weight bags really, really work well and they don't tear. All right. So people are asking, why are we using row cover? So row cover really protects, especially fall planted cool season hardy annuals. So that's the season we're talking about, right? Is about cool season hardy annuals. Many of us fall plant. Some of us plant in very early spring, which we'll talk about that in a moment. But it's just cold conditions outside. And row cover benefits your plants the same way. You know, if you sent your child out to the bus stop when it's 55 degrees outside, they don't have to have a coat. They'll just be uncomfortable. Well, that's what a row cover, putting a windbreaker on them makes them much happier, right? Putting a lightweight row cover on cool season hardy annuals that are winter hardy in your zone just takes away that bite. It makes your foliage be in better shape. It prevents your plants from being grazed by varmints, and it protects from whipping wind. So it just creates a better growing environment, and I totally attribute my huge success with Cool Flowers in that I cover my plants during the winter, and it's not because they don't survive the cold. It's all the other conditions that come with winter growing. So hopefully that answers your question. Now, what does it look like? So in my book, Vegetables Love Flowers, here is an image showing the two ways you can use a row cover. This one has hoops that you just saw with the weight bags. And then this is one that was direct sown and it's just laying flat on the ground. I call that a temporary use. That's like a 7 to 10 day, maybe 14-day actual use. And it's not skin tight, it's a little bit loose. So that's the way it looks when it's actually in use, right? So row cover, once you get row cover and start learning the different uses that you can do with it, I mean, you can use it for pests, keeping varmints and pests out, protect from the wind. There's a lot of different uses for it, and it's incredibly useful. So the other thing that we're really busy doing in the fall is preparing our beds for planting in very early spring. I say this because people miss it. It's the very that's so important. Very early spring is 6 to 8 weeks before your last spring frost, okay? My last spring frost is April 15th, typically. So that means my 6 to 8 week window is Valentine's Day, February 14th to March 1st. What's normally happening here about that time? We can have snow. It is wet from the winter rain, snow, and ice, and you're not going to be able to prepare any planting areas. Those planting areas where you're going to be planting in very early spring, we prepare in the fall now. In fact, we just prepare those beds at the same time we prepare our fall planted beds and just leave them empty, right? So that is the time window. And when we say 6 to 8 weeks before your last spring frost, that's when you're going to have your transplants ready to be planted. And do you want to know what that means, friends? This means when we are hankering in January to start some seeds, these are the seeds you're going to be starting, these cool season hardy annuals that you are going to be planting in your very early spring window, because it's way too soon to start starting warm season stuff, right? So right when we really want to, you're tired of winter, you're ready for something to happen, that's what you're going to be doing. We literally transplant on or around Valentine's Day. That's kind of like our flag saying, okay, we have to have our stuff ready, right? And because that ground is frozen, or not really frozen, it's just cold and wet for that time for us, it just really works out beautifully to have those beds ready and waiting. We prefer to have all of our beds be raised at least 3 or 4 inches. The higher, the better, to provide excellent drainage, because soil tends to stay wet all the time in winter. It just never really dries out. It's really important. And we follow the same steps for prepping our beds as we do for all beds. We put in compost, we put in fertilizer according to directions when we prepare it. We finish it off. We actually put Bio 360 on those beds for very early spring in the fall, and that bed just sits there all winter empty. Although I will say that Bio 360 with the black side up will heat up your soil just a little smidgen. You can also, if you need to, I've done a couple of things to keep the deer and my golden retriever from walking on those beds. You can hoop and cover it, even though nothing's there. That just blocks them walking on it, right? That really works. Or you could lay a silage tarp down on top of your beds to actually just hold them there. So those beds are ready and waiting for your very early spring planting. And you can learn more about all of that in the Cool Flower book, as well as the Cut Flower Handbook really goes into depth on that. And guess what the deal of the day is today, y'all? You may have guessed it. It's row cover, right? And we have new lengths available. So the standard row cover is 6.5 feet wide. That's enough for like a 36-inch bed to be on hoops or to be loose down on top of a bed. And this is the 50-footer that we have always sold. We now have available for a limited time 2 new lengths, 20 feet long by 6.5 feet wide, 50 foot, which we've always had, and now we also have 100-foot pieces. You can find even longer rolls over on our website. So they're all 20% off. That's the deal of the day. The 20-footer, which is normally $12.95, is on sale for $10.36. The 50-footer, which has been $26.95, is on sale for $21.56. And the 100-foot piece, normally $42.95, is now $34.36. So it's the time to get prepared. Do not wait until a storm or cold is bearing down on you. So get your row covers and get it all ready. So now, before I start soil blocking, I've got some seedlings I wanted to show you here. Susie and I thought it would just be a great time to show you. So first off, I just want to say, not everything goes as planned with seed starting. This is Rudbeckia Prairie Sun. And I'm just going to show you. See that you can see there's like one right here that's a little taller, and you can see it. There's actually 6 of them. Those taller ones sprouted first, and then nobody else sprouted. And then within just a couple of days, look at what we have here. I'm just saying, I don't understand why that happens, but it happens to all of us. So sometimes you just have to be patient. So this was started August 29th, and this is the Prairie Sun Rudbeckia. And then this is Chantilly Mix Snapdragons, and they were started September 5th. These just came off the heat. I think it was the day before yesterday. Look how beautiful they are. And they're under grow lights now and going. And then this one, I wanted to show this as an example. I talk about taking your stuff off the seedling heat mat when there's 50% sprouting. I typically select one set of 20. That's how soil blockers make them in sets of 20. And I'm looking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 seeds sprouted in this cluster. That's more than 50%. So this is coming off the heat and going under the grow light, and they will continue their sprouting once they are there. So I thought it'd be helpful for you to see that. So let's do some soil blocking. All right. So I am going to this is the ready-made blocking mix that you'll find on our website here. You can get larger bags over on our big website. This is the tool that we use for to make the blocks. We import these from England. And the blocking mix, as you may be able to tell, is a little wetter than what most people use for seed starting. And so I use potato masher, y'all. I like to make a little pile of mix, so I actually have something to drive my tool into. And I do it twice because I want nice, firm, full blocks. I use the potato masher to strike the bottom off. We use trays that have no drainage holes, which means you can do it anywhere in your home, indoors. No drainage holes, and it's flat. I don't like ridges. I don't use trays with ridges, let's put it that way. So you just place your blocker on the tray, give it a push and a pull, and you just made 20 little containers to sow your seeds in. And now I'm going to sow some Snapdragon seeds. They're tiny, and these happen to be pelleted, which is why they're yellow. Can y'all see that? I don't know how. You can see? When you use our little seed pan that you see here, it's aluminum, that has no static electricity. So when I touch the seed, the toothpick to the seed, I got two that time, the seed literally hops right on. It does not matter how tiny the seed is, y'all. So I'm not holding it in the right place here. And that is how you surface sow a seed. When a packet says needs light, that's what you're doing. You're putting it on the surface and firmly seeding it. Okay. So I'll do another one. There's a seed on my toothpick. I'm just firmly seeding it on the surface of the block. Because I'm hurrying, I'm grabbing two at a time. And we always put one seed per block because we have such high germination. So that's how you sow surface sown seeds. All right, so let's see, how can you get started soil blocking, right? So the number one product we have sold for 15 years is our Soil Block Maker Kit. The kit comes with that small blocker that you just saw me using, right? It also comes with 5 of these flat bottom, no ridge trays. This tray holds 3 clusters of 20. It also comes with the seed pan. It comes with a toothpick dispenser and the toothpicks, along with some wooden plant ID tags. And it comes with your choice of either 3 warm season seeds or 3 cool season seeds, which you select which when you're checking out. And Seed Starting Made Easy. This is the course that I made. It's 116 minutes long, broken up into a bunch of little segments. It covers soil blocking, direct sowing, planting into plug trays, and even the Swift blocker. So that is included with your kit. And it has the ready-made mix that you just saw me make the blocks out of. This 6-quart bag will make about 500 of those little tiny blocks. So it goes a really long way. So you get all of these things for $89.95. And I didn't mention earlier, seed packet only shipping is free here inside the app. But when you buy a product, there's a cap. It's only $9.95 shipping, no matter how much product you purchase. So this has everything that you need to actually start soil blocking, right? And so because the blocking mix for soil blocking, there's a special recipe so you can make yours at home, we have made a soil set. And so this is the soil set. So this includes the fungus gnat fighting kit that has the bits to go in your watering can, has directions right on the bag, as well as the yellow sticky traps to put in your wherever you're starting your seeds to capture the adults. This also has the toothpick dispenser and the toothpicks. It also includes a seed pan. You can never have enough seed pans. But this also includes the DIY blocking mix. This is the nutrient that you add to your sifted compost and peat moss or cocoa fiber. So you can make your own blocking mix at home. And this is actually powder, which is what you need for seed starting. And this is green sand and rock phosphate. And this is enough to make 5 or 6 recipes. And a recipe is equivalent to one of our ready-made bags. And this is the important part, y'all. This is a sifter. And this just fits beautifully on the top of a 5-gallon bucket. You sift your peat moss, compost. We even recommend sifting the ready-made mix because there's just chunks that you just don't want in your seed starting. So you get this and all of this stuff, and it's $58.95. And once again, shipping is $9.95. Let's just say you buy the Soil Blocker Maker Kit. You're only paying $9.95 once, even if you buy this also. So shipping is capped at $9.95. Here's a closer look at some of those trays. So these are foam. They are not disposable. We use these for years, y'all. This is the mini that you saw me use before. It's 5¼ inches square. It holds one set of 20. A mini is what we call it for a 5-pack is $195. A 25-pack is $695. Now this is the small size. This holds 2 sets of 20 or 8 of the 2-inch blocks. And so this is $295 for a 5-pack or $12.95 for a 25-pack. And this is the size that comes in your kit. This is called large, and it's $3.95 or $15.95 depending on how many you get. And so we use those trays for years, y'all. You just keep taping them, put your ID on them, and using them over and over again. So a seedling heat mat is essential to getting seeds to germinate quickly and more thoroughly. And so this has a built-in thermostat. It will hold up to 4 of those trays that you just saw. You can put 4 of those trays that hold 60 each, so you can start 240 blocks at one time on the seedling heat mat. There is a much larger heat mat available over at thegardenersworkshop.com if you need it. And this is $39.95. And this is like the great piece to add to your soil block maker kit. Now, one of the things that really helps, because we surface so many seeds, many of the flower seeds just really need light to germinate. So we use wide weave burlap to lay on top of our soil blocks. So we sow our seeds and we move them onto the seedling heat mat. And then we lay the wide weave burlap on top. That helps to trap moisture. However, it allows air circulation. And unlike plastic that blocks it and can really encourage disease and fungus to actually grow. This comes in a 36-inch size approximately, and it is $3.95 for one piece, or you can buy a 3-pack for $9.95. And when I come out, I pull the burlap back, do my watering duties, and as soon as seeds show signs of cracking, take the burlap off, because they will grow through the wide weave quickly, right? All right, so here is our favorite little watering can. This is the one that I use in my grow room. We call it the long spout watering can. It's stainless steel. It holds up to 4 cups of water. It makes it really easy to water those trays. It's got a gentle spill out of the end. This is also amazing to use for watering flower arrangements too, right? So this is $29.95, and it's great for houseplants or actually seed starting. I'm frequently asked what fertilizer, how do we feed our seedlings, right? And this has been our one we've used for over 2 decades. It's Neptune's Harvest Seaweed and Fish Liquid Fertilizer. The directions are right on the bottle, and I follow the houseplant watering. It's a tablespoon to a gallon, so this goes a really long way. It's $18.95, and I add this to the watering can every Monday. So I'm not doing any additional chores. I'm just adding this to the watering can on Monday. So that is how we actually feed, and you can use that out in the garden as well. So this is the dry organic fertilizer that we add out in our beds when we're prepping. And so this is a organic certified chicken litter based fertilizer. And you use about 7 cups or 3 pounds. This is a 4-pound bag. 3 pounds for a 10 by 10 spot, 100 square feet. There is larger bags of this available over on our website. And we do this at every crop flip. Whenever we're preparing soil, this always gets added, because this feeds your soil, and your soil is what's taking care of your plants. And so we really love that. So that's the dry organic fertilizer you hear me speak of so very often. And so, this is big. This is almost as busy for planting for us as spring is, right? Which means we are just using tons of the Bio 360 biodegradable film on our beds, which blocks seeds from getting light, which prevents those annual weeds from sprouting. And I mean, chickweed and henbit, all of those just cool season weeds. So we're using tons of bio. This is what it is. Looks just like plastic, but yet it's made out of a corn byproduct. It is super easy to plant through. Literally, you can use your finger to pop a hole. However, you'll see this in a minute. We call this the Bobo tool. This is what Bobo uses to poke the holes. It's a weeder. It has a dark side and a light side. This time of the year, when we make our beds, we make it with the dark side up so that we just benefit from any heat that may come as a result of the dark. Now, this comes in 50-foot and 100-foot pieces. You can get a 50-foot piece 1-pack for $24.95, a 6-pack for $119.95. In a 100-foot piece, 1 pack is $39.95, and a 100-foot 3-pack is $110.95. I really attribute my ability to scale our farm to this film. It just reduces so much weed pressure by using it that we just really love using it. You want to take over? Okay. So, wooden markers. Anybody else thinking they're going to remember what they're planting? Not going to happen, y'all. So we have this really great label marker bundle. It has 10 of these 18-inch markers and 10 of the 12-inch wooden markers, as well as our very favorite garden marker, which is made to withstand moisture and UV rays, and it really lasts, y'all. This was 15 months out in the garden. You can still read Royal Mix. These were my sweet peas a couple of years ago. And so you can reuse them. After I've written on both sides, used it for 2 different plantings, you can just spray paint the top of this or just dip it in paint and start using it all over again. So there's a lot of really fun ways to use those. You will not remember what you planted where. Now, this little mini dibber, which is the cutest thing we've ever sold. I hear from it, not only can you make holes in the Bio 360 and you can use it for planting the small blocks, people love this thing for container gardening. So it's a little wooden dowel that has pointy ends, and you can just use all kinds of stuff for it. Super cute in stockings too, by the way. It's $7.95 for the mini dibber, and it just has a lot of different uses, and we really love that baby. Now here is the Bobo weeder that I was just talking about. It's a dandelion weeder. We love this for weeding, but we really love to use it to poke holes in the Bio 360. And this is $7.95. So this is a hand weeder tool, and you'll just find a lot of different uses for this. And it's really great for those like thistle. It works really great for too. Those things that have a deep root, you just run this down right next to the heart of the plant and rock it, and you'll be able to pull those right out. And so this, my friends, is a garden knife. We call it a hori hori. It's a Japanese tool, and we use this for a lot of different stuff. But I tell you, one of the things to use at this time of the year, this is amazing for planting bulbs. You can stab, pull, drop your bulb in, move a few inches, stab, pull, and when you pull, it backfills the one you just did a couple inches closer to you. It's great for those minor bulbs like crocuses and grape hyacinths and all those little guys. But also it's just useful around the garden. It is super heavy duty. You can see how far the metal goes up into the handle. This is $46.95. And if you have anybody that's a gardener in your life, this is like the gift you could give them that they will thank you for the rest of their growing season. They absolutely love it. And it comes with a sheath. You do have to have a belt to be able to use this. But the hori hori, this is a tool. When we were asked to carry this about 10 years ago by a bunch of master gardeners, I'm like, I'm not even sure what we would use that for. We use it for all. Suzanne calls it the rock harvester. You stick this in the soil to do things you should not be using your shears for and other tools. So the hori hori is just really essential. Now, we just started offering this year, and I love this stuff, y'all. This is the insect netting. This is just like a pair of pantyhose. It's kind of stretchy, and it protects plants from like airborne pests, meaning those that fly in, like moths that are laying their eggs on your brassicas right now, cauliflower and broccoli and kale and stuff. But I also use it to make what I call a sun cap on those hoops that I showed you earlier that are available over on our website. We like cap it you'll see there's a video. You can actually see it on the product, and use clips, and you can create like a shade garden, which is really useful at this time of the year if you're still staying a little warmer than you like. It is lightweight, air and rain penetrated. It's of course reusable. It's actually much more durable than a row cover. It's totally different. Row cover blocks wind. This doesn't really do much wind blocking because it has so many holes, but because it has so many holes, it doesn't block, it doesn't trap heat. So it's really great to use this time of the year. This is available in 6.5-foot pieces. That's how wide they are. You can get a 20-footer for $33.95, a 50-foot for $82.95, and a 100-foot for $159.95. And you will find a lot of uses for this, and we recommend using it with our hoops and the weight bags. Speaking of which, here's the weight bag with nothing in it. So this is how it comes to you. It's got a tie at the top. 15 pounds is the magic number. You know, you fill one and weigh it and then use that one as a guide, right? You can get 10 bags for $10.95. You can get 25 bags for $24.95 and 50 bags for $39.95. You never have enough bags. We still don't have. I have 500, probably have more than 500. Probably have 1,000 bags now. There's never enough. I mean, especially when you start using it for other things. So get more bags than you think you need. Friends, this is the most amazing kneeling bench. Look how big it is, right? But look how thick it is. My husband uses this to work on his Harleys. 2 inches thick, made in the USA. It is super lightweight. It is it's got a nice little carrying handle. And I gave all the team got one of these last year or the year before, for either, I remember if it was for our annual picnic or Christmas or what, but this change, I mean, you could scrub your floor using this. There's just anything getting down on the ground. And for you young people, you just don't even know how useful this is for those of us, I'll say over 40. I'm 63. I love this thing. So this is $42.95. Get them while they're available. So this, we have sold this for 15 years. This is called the Kitchen Compost Bucket. And the lid fits super snug. This stays in my pantry. This is where I put everything that I want to take out to my compost heap, which I try to do every couple of days to dump it. You only put vegetables and fruit in here that I chop them up really small. Not super small, but you don't put big chunks because that makes it break down faster, less of an issue with creatures. But because it's got a nice tight fitting lid and you're going to dump it every couple, 3 days, you don't need all that filter stuff that you see on some of these compost buckets. It's just really not necessary. This is also just a prettier looking, right? You can keep this under your kitchen sink. The compost bucket is $15.95, and it's just really, we love it. We just love it a lot. And so, reminder, if you're just joining us, that if you want to enter the giveaway, hit the button now to get on that list. One lucky in-person live viewer is going to get that. All right, another reminder that all those row cover sizes are the deal of the day this weekend, y'all. So that means the 20-footer, the 50-footer, and the 100-footer, 6.5 feet wide, are all 20% off. So that will be on sale until Sunday at 8 a.m. or until supplies aren't available anymore. They sell out. So don't remember, this is the season, y'all. You just don't know how many people reach out to us that, oh my gosh, it's going to be 10 degrees tomorrow night. I don't have row cover. Please send my order fast. Don't let that happen to you, friends. It's pretty terrifying, right? All right, so now we have a bunch of flowers to look at, and I always remind people that storing your seeds properly is the way that you can just buy seeds whenever you meet the flower and store them properly. These are desiccants, which absorb moisture. We always store our seeds with desiccants, and that just allows you to buy seeds as you meet them and have them last for seasons. So 2-pack is $2.95, a 10-pack is $9.95. So let's look at some flowers. So we're still bringing gold coxcomb in, y'all. This is just a great fall color, right? This goes with everything. Coxcomb is super interesting. Especially when you have the big heads are really cool, but when you have the smaller heads, they just add a lot of interest. This is rose, but it's really like a cotton candy color. And even though you won't think pink for the fall, this is a really poppin' color, which we love it all the time. So that is the coxcomb rose. And look at this color for fall. This is that Queen Select. Is it Select? Queen Improved. That's what it's called. And this is just a fabulous fall color. And look at this. This is Celosia Flamingo Feather. This is that blush. I mean, I think this color is probably good year round. You can really turn it to whatever you put it with. And again, friends, the thing about celosias in the fall, they start to make seed quicker because the days are shorter. So you have to really be on your harvest game. And this is the Sunday series, and this is gold. I mean, is that not just a gorgeous color? It's almost as gorgeous as orange, my favorite, right? So, huh? Yeah. I mean, look at that. Are those just not awesome for fall? They are just really, really beautiful. So the Sunday series is a really reliable plume, and we have them in all the colors available, a mix or in the multicolored, and just a great one. And then look at this. This is Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus. And this is one stem. Kind of looks like a Japanese maple or cannabis. But this is a great foliage. This is incredibly productive, 50 to 80 stems per plant. So you don't need many. And you don't want but one stick of that in a bouquet because it gets really dark fast. All right, so we're looking at our rooster peppers. They're starting to turn red, y'all. How beautiful would that be in bouquets, in mixed bouquets, right? So this is the rooster pepper that we had the seed grown for us, and I'm going to show you why they're important. Most peppers, the fruit is down in the leaves, and it is so labor intensive to strip them because you got to expose the peppers. That's the whole point, right? That it's just too labor intensive to make it beneficial. What's so cool about rooster is rooster fruit rises above the fruit, or the fruit rises above the foliage, y'all. I can't talk and work at the same time. And literally, when you do this out as these are a little wimpy because I brought these in like this. It doesn't take any time for you to strip the stem and you have the rooster peppers. This is an in-demand commercial and bouquet type of crop, right? So rooster pepper seed, you don't want to miss out on those. We did not have them grown this year, so it's limited quantities on that. Hyacinth bean vine, Jack and the Beanstalk is what I call this, right? So this is what it looks like when it starts to bloom this time of year. It's beautiful. This does not last long at all. And so if you were going to use this, you would never put this in a bouquet. It's going to drop its blooms tomorrow. But for an event at your home today or tomorrow, you could do this. But this is what they look like when they bloom. And then this is where we use them in bouquets. Look at this beans. The beans last indefinitely. So that is just a great bouquet ingredient. So hyacinth bean is aggressive. It's going to need something to climb on. I call it Jack and the Beanstalk. If that gives you any clue, it literally will grow a foot a day. But it's an annual and gets winter killed. And it's absolutely beautiful. And the bees are all over it. And the children love it. Yeah, it's a great one. But you have to remember, it's got lots of bees on it. So another vine that we have growing on our tunnel, the hyacinth beans out there growing, is Love in a Puff. This stuff hydrates beautifully with all this gorgeous dangly business on it. Putting the end either in a vase or in a tube and laying this on a dining table, on a chandelier, totally beautiful, and they're pretty magical actually. This is Love in a Puff, but they do reseed heavily. Hyacinth bean doesn't. Now we have Eucalyptus, my rule is that we don't start harvesting eucalyptus till September because it's just so great to have this new foliage. This is parvula gum, and notice how small the leaf is, and it's a darker color. It's not so silver. It's more like wintergreen, I guess you would say. And there is such a big benefit to actually try to winter this over. If you are in winter hardiness zone 7 and 8, it's definitely worth trying to winter it over because of the extreme growth that happens the second year and so much more abundance. This is just one of my favorites. This is the classic. This is Silver Dollar. No, yes, Silver Dollar. And this is the one that everybody is familiar with. And you cannot have enough eucalyptus. You should grow them all the seed that you can get, and definitely get on the wait list if the seeds are not available, because when the seed does come in, we sell out to the wait list usually. And so this is Silver Dollar, and it's really beautiful. But let me see. I think this is the coolest. Look at this. This is Polyanthumus. Is that not? Look at that, how different. This is the color of parvula gum, and it's just got a totally different structure. Really love this. You'll see tons of eucalyptus fake in home decor stores, right? Eucalyptus is so in. You can never have enough for foliage for your bouquets, nor your florist, and people and designers. This is really, really beautiful. So this is Purple Majesty, and I brought these in. I thought this is the perfect stage. First off, who doesn't want a ton of this in fall, right? But this is the perfect stage to harvest right here. See how it's just coming out and it's partially green? This is how you want to cut it. This is what you want it to look like after it's been in your customer's home or at your florist for a good while, because it's soon going to be developing pollen. So you want to cut it early and get it moved out. It looks like a corn plant. And this is Purple Majesty. It produces multiple stems per plant, and it is a must-have for fall. And y'all, I just went out to get something else. I had to cut these straw flowers. Look, these were planted mid-February. Very early spring planting of straw flowers, still pumping out the stems. This is the gold. And is this not a great fall color? And what I wanted to show you is this is harvest stage. See that? It's not fully open. And being open like this, you don't want to see that center. This will last fresh, but if you want to dry it, that's going to all get brown. So that's really beautiful. Look at this. Which one is this? Copper red. How great is this for fall? Wreaths, bouquets, straight bunches. Who would have enough? And then this is the peach. Or is it apricot? Peach. Look at all the different colors. Perfect harvest. Kind of late for harvest. For drying. Really beautiful. And I only saw one of these to get, so I had to cut it. Look at that white. For fresh bouquets, this is tube wide open for drying. For fresh bouquets, is that not just beautiful? All right, basil, purple ruffles. This stuff is awesome, and it has the classic basil. And that was purple ruffles. This is cardinal, and notice it's got a much bigger, flatter, darker bloom, and it's got dark stems. One stick of this and a bouquet, people are like, what's that smell? Gosh, that smells like basil. And they're so surprised. This basil holds up. Y'all, this Tweedia is off the rails. Tweedia is a cool flower. This was very early spring planted, mid-February, y'all, and it is still blooming like nobody's tomorrow. So, baby blue, totally love it. And get on the wait list. You'll be notified as soon as we have it in stock. We love that. Of course, what would fall be without marigolds? This is the mix. It has orange, gold, and the lemon yellow in it. Super pretty. These are such great Halloween little bouquets to give away to kids. If you have trick-or-treaters, try it. Kids love them. And they can walk around with them out of water and it doesn't affect the stems, right? This is some of our sunflowers. This is the bouquet mix. And so Kelly wanted me to point out, so this has 4 of the Pro Cut Orange series. But the classic sunflower is truly orange. You can see this is it. But this is Brilliance, which is yellow. And so people often think sunflowers are yellow, but in fact, the classic sunflowers are more orange with a dark center. But this mix has a little bit of both, and these are the perfect size for making bouquets. They're really beautiful. This is one of my favorites. This is the Pro Cut Plum. See, it's kind of got like a softer yellow with a mahogany brush, but I will tell you, they definitely prematurely drop their petals more than the other Pro Cuts, but they're really beautiful. And so here's the lesson. This is the stage to harvest right here. This is what they should look like in the bouquet. See these? They're just cracking. That's how you cut them. And we also put hydrator in the bucket, which is quick dip, 2 tablespoons to a gallon of water. All right, so here is some Queen Mix zinnias. Is this not a perfect color for fall, right? That romantic Victorian whole kind of look. Super beautiful. And then this is the Queen Lemon Peach. And they are very unique, really beautiful. And then one of my favorites are the Oklahoma zinnias. These are smaller than the big Benaries, right? They have many of the same colors. And it just gives you a variation when I grow a little patch of those with my big ones in a small cutting garden. And then we have our Inca Orange Cactus zinnias. People either love them or they hate them. The petals are frillier and ruffled. They aren't the plain. And that's Inca, which has the oranges. And then here's the Cactus Mix, which has a bunch of just different colorations, right? There's gold and blush and red and pink. So they're just really different looking. And then this is the Uproar Rose zinnia. And this is not a Benaries Giant. It's more of a magenta fluorescent kind of color. The Uproar series is really a high producer. It's really wonderful. And then this is Zowie. What a great fall color, right? So very beautiful. And I wouldn't grow this early summer. And then y'all, this is my favorite marigold. This is White Swan. No fragrance. The fragrance is in the foliage, y'all. And this was hybridized for this great buttercream color. And there's no fragrance, which makes them a really big keeper. And y'all, I just decided to show all the zinnias together as a mix. Look at all these gorgeous colors. I mean, look at this salmon right here. That is a great fall color, right? Along with there's orange. So you can buy these in the mix, or you can buy all these colors separately. That's deep red right here, carmine, yellow. I mean, we have all the colors and we grow all the colors according to the season that we're actually going into, right? And we still have Gumphrena. Look at how tall this stuff is. This is the carmine, and this is kind of like deep pink, right? And these will all be dried, and they hold their color really beautifully. And then just as one, we haven't had much of this year. This is the Strawberry Fields. You want this one for 4th of July also, friends. This is a great fall color if you're all into those Southwest colors. Or for 4th of July, this Gumphrena. And we succession plant everything, but especially Gumphrena. And then this is the one I love all summer long. This is purple. Audra Purple. Totally love this stuff. And again, it is so very, very tall. So the Cosmos are really coming out, y'all. This is the Apricota, which we haven't seen this one yet this year. This is a great fall color. It's like a pink. Can you see the little bit of apricot on there? That is really beautiful. And then we have the Double Click. Those are those double bloom Cosmos. This is the mix. And you can buy the colors individually or you can buy the mix. As the days get shorter, Cosmos really kick into gear. This is that Sensation mix, which just really has a lot of. This is really fun for butterflies. It's really heavy and it gets kind of tall in the garden. This is really fun to plant in your landscape in the back if you really want to see a lot of pollinator action. So we haven't had ageratum for a while, but it's finally coming back. Never has it been said you don't want blue flowers. They're actually kind of purple, but they're called blue ageratum. Totally love this. Great for bouquets as well as selling straight bunches. So friends, they just handed me my gourds. If you haven't ever grown the little spinning gourds, this is it. This is maturity. These are the coolest things ever. And if you let them dry, we don't have any dry ones here. They'll dry just like a birdhouse gourd does. You can make Christmas ornaments. This is a great craft for your kids. It also grows on our tunnel here. So the spinning gourd is really fun to grow. And then we also have some of the cocoa yellow marigolds. Look at that green in the center. That is just really the stage I love to cut them in. And it really depends. If you are a small grower just getting started, grow the mixes, right? And then as you figure out what your customers want and what your need is, then you can start growing solid colors. That is really beautiful. So this is sylphid, which is one of the celoseas, and this is really old. This is too old to sell, y'all. If you saw a fresh one, you would know you'd see that there's a dark haze, and the dark haze are the seeds that are developing. But these are just kind of interesting. We'll hang these to dry. Sylphid is a great plume, but here's the plume you don't want to miss. Y'all, look at our Texas plumes. Look at the mix of colors in this. Finally, we have Texas plume. How gorgeous is this? All different sizes. Look how big some of these are. I just wanted to highlight. This is what you're looking for to fill up bouquets, right? Big plumes in all these great colors. Texas plumes. We had the seed grown for us. Don't miss out on this because that is limited quantity. And then y'all, wait till you see this. You have to get on this wait list. This is Crystal Beauty. How gorgeous this color. Bobo is so in love with this, she can hardly stand it. It's so beautiful. This stuff is 4 foot tall out in the garden. It is so very, very beautiful. And of course, these are all perfect for fall. And then this is that Kramer's coxcomb. This is the coxcomb that was hybridized for drying. How beautiful. With the queen zinnias, these are perfect. There's green, rose, and burgundy. Super beautiful. And again, super duper tall. And then our last one, which is one of my favorites, the most productive coxcomb I've ever grown. This is orange red. And it's just a great color. This is what floats our boat all throughout summer for bouquet program. It's really pretty amazing. Totally love that. All right, it's time to wrap up now, friends. Oh, my flowers are gone. Remember to stick around for the Q&A at the end. And friends, over on our big website, thegardenersworkshop.com, we have so many resources. We have videos, there's blogs, there's podcasts. We actually have 2 podcasts. We have Field and Garden, and then I do Seed Talk with Lane. Lane is our seed manager. She and I actually just did a course together, Cool Flowers from Seed to Harvest. And the podcast also have videos, so you can check us out over on our YouTube channel for that. Yesterday's episode that just dropped was Germination Troubles with Cool Flower Transplants. All of September, she has committed to the Cool Flower Frequently Asked Questions and Troubleshooting, just trying to meet you where you are, right? So please check that out. And so this coming Wednesday, I'm actually hosting Ask a Flower Farmer over on Instagram, Wednesday at 12:30. Check you out then. And remember to meet us back here next Friday at the same time. And Susie Q, my sister, is going to be demonstrating some of our arranging tools then. And y'all, it's time. It is time for us to draw the winner of the $25 store credit. And I hope you're here, because if you're not, we don't get to award it to anybody. So if I say your name, shout out in the comments, okay? And our winner is Tanya Bradford. Tanya Bradford, if you are here, I'm giving you $25 to spend. So give us a big shout out. Congratulations. This credit will be added to your account in just a few minutes. The girls will add it as soon as they know you're here. But stick around for the live Q&A, or if you're signing off, thanks for joining us here today. All right. So let's look at some of these questions. Question, can spinning gourds be harvested now? They are so cute and so very prolific. Yes, yes, and yes. You are so right. You do not need but one or two gourds. Oh, she's here. Congratulations, Tanya. I'm so glad you're here. So somebody is working right now to drop that $25 into your store, into your cart. So when you go to check out, you'll have a $25 store credit. So awesome sauce. So I'm glad you're here. Thanks for participating. So I find that it's just easier to let the gourds dry on the vine, just because it's one less thing to deal with inside, right? But you want to get them off the vine before you really get a hard frost. So we tend to leave ours out there. We probably have 2,000 gourds out there. I'm not kidding you. I mean, they're just hanging inside that tunnel. So you can pick them now, but then you need to put them in a single layer, like in a dry, cool place, and let them dry out. And usually they kind of get a little moldier indoor drying than out on the vine. So you have to give them a bubble bath, which you have to give them a bubble bath anyway if you want to craft with them. Make Christmas ornaments or earrings. I'm still waiting for somebody to make me some earrings and send them to me. I love those gourds. We love using them fresh in bowls on like fall tables. Can I use weight bags in a 17-inch high garden bed? So I actually have two 18-inch high raised beds, my Joe beds, but they have a wide wooden edge. So, I mean, you should be able to use them anywhere that there's a place for them to sit. They work beautifully on mine because my wood is a 6-inch by 6-inch cedar squares, and they can just sit right on top of it. Do you add dry fertilizer to the bed now for the spring planting beds? Now, for spring, yes, but for very early spring, we do it now because we're preparing the beds now and they're going to be finished off. But my spring beds, like those first warm season tender annuals that'll be planted, we don't start preparing them till like mid-March if the weather cooperates. So hope that answers. How do you handle snow on the row covers? That's a great question. Whenever there is any expected on my phone, any expected frozen precipitation, you always take your row covers down, always. So if snow is coming, or if they're saying frozen rain or something, just take your row covers down, because your plants, I only use row cover for protecting my plants from wind and varmints. They don't need the cold protection, right? So taking your row covers down when that weather is coming, in fact, ice and snow protect your plants a whole lot more than your row covers do. So whenever there's expected frozen precipitation of any type, take your covers down. All right. How do you know if the seeds are the right size for the blocks, i.e. too big? That's a really great question too. So, I mean, you'll get to know that. That's one of the first things we do when we get a new seed in that we haven't started before. First thing Bobo does, well, how big is it? So we have to open it up and look. And borderline, I mean, you don't want the seed to like bust the seedlings, the block wide open, so that if it's borderline, then you have to think when it sprouts, is that little block going to be able to support it? So that's how we know when to bump it up. And that's one of the great things about the Swift blockers. There's like an in between now. So we have the 3/4 inch small block, which you saw me demo today, right? But the Swift blocker, if you're a commercial grower, its block is 9/10 of an inch, which is twice the size of a 3/4. And that works out to be that kind of like medium go-to size block. So we love that. So friends, I love answering your questions, and thanks for participating and coming along. And I hope to see you here next Friday, and then I'll see you Wednesday on Instagram also. All right, friends, until we meet again. Ciao.